Right, today I'm going to show you how to cook the king of the sea, a whole turbot. We're going to use the Kadai paella pan and the new Kadai lid to turn the oven into a big, smoky, slow cooker. All we need to do is we're just going to take off these fins, just because they're just going to get in the way when we come to serve it. So just going to run the knife along those edges, and now it is bone there, so you do have to have a nice sharp knife. I'm just scoring along there, and then we're going to just slice through. I'm just going to take the tail off. In order to be able to get some flavour into this and some seasoning, we're going to have to put some incisions just into the skin. So I'm just going to put a few down. This kind of marks out roughly where you're going to portion it when it cooks. It's also going to allow the heat to get in and cook things more evenly. Get some salt into those cracks. Okay, make sure that we nicely season the fish. Okay, and I like to get some acidity onto the fish, so I'm going to use a tomato for that, and we're going to lay it on the top of the fish that we want. Right, so we've got our fennel, we've got some baby potatoes, we've got some little plum tomatoes, a couple of whole garlic bulbs that have been chopped in half, some onions, some green and black olives, and some fennel seeds. This is the basis of what we're going to be cooking underneath the fish. So all of this will be pulled out and served with the fish at the end. But to get things started, we're going to get some pancetta chopped and into the paella pan. Place the pan over where we've got the most coals going. We're just using some quartered artichokes from a jar, just going to go into the pan. In with the pancetta and those artichokes, we're just going to start to render down that fat. Next, into the pan go with our baby potatoes. Just going to get those frying off. Okay, that's working really nicely, smelling amazing. To that hot oil, we're going to add some fennel seeds, followed by our fennel, our tomatoes, garlic and onions. Okay, I'm going to go in with the black and green olives. That's going to help to season this dish with some salt, some brine, and extra texture and flavour. We get some really nice caramelisation going on in here now. I don't want to overcook stuff, so what we're going to do is we're going to now deglaze the pan with probably 3/4 of a bottle of good white wine. Just going to let the alcohol cook off for a second. We should see that these tomatoes are going to start really breaking down, everything's going to soften, potatoes are going to cook in that liquid, and we're ready to drop the fish on the top. Then we're going to move the pan back into the indirect heat. Finally, before we close the lid, I'm just going to drop on a couple of bits of wood, and that's just going to create a little bit of smoke, which is going to give us a little bit of more flavour as this cooks. And we're going to then pull the lid over the fish. Note that I put the vent at the front here, and you can already see how that's dragging that smoke over the fish and out. If we put the vent at the back here, then the smoke's going to go straight out and it's going to miss the fish. So it's always important that wherever your fire is, you put the vent to the opposite side so the smoke comes right over and cooks and obviously flavours the fish. Okay, so she's been in for about 10 minutes. I'm going to have a little look. Oh, that is looking and smelling amazing. When we're braising, we need to make sure that we're topped up with liquid, so it's a good point now probably just to add in a little more wine. All of that's evaporated. We want to make sure there's still some liquid at the end. You're probably going to go through a bottle cooking this fish, but that's all good. Okay, in order to know when this is cooked, it's important to keep taping the temperature. We're going to try and stop it around about 62 degrees. At the moment, we're nowhere near, we're on 25, so we've got a way to go, but that's all good. Slow and slow is the way. Okay, right, I think we're nearly there. Slowed right down now. I've moved it over the last bit of the coals just to finish it off. I probed it a few minutes ago and we were almost there. So that's just hitting 60, 61, 62. That is perfectly cooked. So we're going to take this off and just let it rest for 5 minutes before we finish dressing it. Okay, so these tomatoes have served their purpose now. They've given their acidity and they've kept the skin moist. So I'm just going to remove those. Just going to grab hold of the skin. I'm just going to lift, gently peel all of it away to expose that beautiful white flesh. And then finally, we're going to use our Kadai tool, the flambadoo, which has been in the coals, heat it up till it's glowing hot, and then we're going to drop in the butter and it's just going to melt the butter all over this fish to finish it. The smell of that is absolutely insane. Flame basting. Ooh. The fireworks display. So to serve this up, we're just going to dig in here and get some of those bits of braised fennel, those potatoes, olives, the tomatoes, the artichokes. It's all there. Serious flavour. So we're just going to get the knife right underneath it, lift a beautiful piece of that delicate fish off across the middle. And then of course, finish it with a gorgeous braising liquor. And there we have our braised turbot with artichoke, fennel, baby new potatoes, olives and tomatoes, cooked on the Kadai using the Kadai paella pan and the new Kadai lid. Get yourself one of those lids.